Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining me today as we talk about the Irish newspaper archives. So my name is Michael Costello and I'm the MTU Deputy Librarian here in the Bishopstown Campus Library. So as I said, this is actually a new resource that we're promoting at the moment. So it's the Irish Newspaper Archives collection itself. It's a new addition to the MTU Library e-resource collection. So we've only had this for the last number of months now, and so far it's proven to be a very, very popular resource among students and staff. So the resource is actually provided through MTU Library's IRL membership and is funded nationally by nTutor. So first of all, what I'd like to do today is just maybe talk about for a few minutes there about the value of newspapers for research and indeed for learning as well. Newspapers in all formats offer students and staff crucial information in relation to political, social, economic, and cultural events and trends. Newspapers provide a snapshot of contemporary and historical events through narration and commentary. Newspapers also help readers to gain a broader insight into the political and socio-economic environment in which events actually occur. So newspapers as a learning resource. So as a primary source of information, newspapers record history in the making. They provide accounts of events, enabling readers to formulate opinions on the subject matter. Newspapers as a platform encourage discourse. Editorials and articles frequently stimulate intellectual discussion and encourage readers to employ critical thinking skills. So again, the thing is, this isn't unique to newspapers. This is relevant to magazines, journal articles, books, and whatever, okay? So the thing is, basically, it's something that we always encourage our students to do, is basically they always need to employ their own critical thinking skills when assessing the validity of an article or a paper or whatever it may be. Newspapers are a useful educational tool, enhancing learning skills and general knowledge. They expose readers to various topics ranging from the arts to the sciences, promoting a very holistic way of learning. So from that point of view, newspapers are a fantastic resource, again, for students and indeed staff. So about the Irish Newspaper Archives collection itself. So the Newspaper Archives is one of the world's largest and indeed the oldest online databases of Irish newspapers. So through the Irish Newspaper Archives, you will find a rich and comprehensive Irish newspaper archive. The resource provides a fast and easy way to access newspapers from 1738 right up to the current day. So next, I want to discuss the coverage which is actually included in the Irish Newspaper Archives. So the collection offers users an opportunity to research Irish history, both contemporary and modern, with legacy newspapers presented in their original black and white printed format and current newspapers available in high quality digital format. So it would actually seem that the Irish Newspaper Archives, what they seem to do on a regular basis is they go out and they talk to either councils or local libraries or whatever, and they actually find content that they actually digitize then and add to the newspaper archives themselves. So from that point of view, as I said, what you will actually find in many instances throughout the archives is scanned copies of newspapers. However, in terms of more modern newspapers there again, where those are actually supplied to the Irish Newspaper Archives, they normally come across in high quality digital format. So there is a variation, but again, everything works seamlessly through the interface with the Irish Newspaper Archives website. So many newspapers within the Irish Newspaper Archive are available from their first publication date right through to the current day. The archive consists of over 6 million pages of newspaper content from titles across Southern and Northern Ireland, spanning 279 years worth of Irish publications. So again, the thing is, anyone that's going to be using the Irish newspaper archives, the thing is they have access to a massive amount of material, which is all very good for anyone carrying out research on any given particular topic. So again, one thing that probably needs to be stressed is that the archive continues to expand on a regular basis. So as I said previously, the Irish Newspaper Archive people, basically what they do is they routinely work with newspaper publishers, county councils, public libraries, and indeed other agencies to identify and digitize entire newspaper collections across the country. And as I said, this work is ongoing and new content is regularly being added to the archives collection. So in terms of national newspapers, the Irish Newspaper Archive offers MTU students and staff access to over 140 newspaper titles. The archive features a full-text access to both national, regional, and out-of-print titles from across the country. So examples of well-known national newspapers include the Irish Examiner, dating back as 1841 right up to the current date, the Evening Herald from 1891 to the current date, Irish Independent from 1905 to the current date, the Sunday Independent 1906 to the current date, and the Evening Echo 1896 to the current date. So unfortunately, not all national newspaper archives not all national newspapers are included within the archives collection. So this is probably important to just kind of to point out. But as I said, not every national newspaper is included in the collection. But at the same time, there is a fantastic coverage of general kind of national newspapers. Regional newspapers feature predominantly within the database itself. Regional titles from most counties are available to view. And again, there's nearly all of the counties at this stage are well represented in the archives collection. Examples include the Kerryman, 1904 to the current date, the Limerick Leader, 1905 to the current date, Belfast Newsletter, 1738 to the current date, Belfast Telegraph, 1976 to the current date, Waterford News and Star, 1848 to the current date, Munster Express, 1860 to the current date, Donegal News, 1903 to the current date. And those are just a small sample of the various regional newspapers that are included in the archives collection. So the next question that we need to ask ourselves is, how exactly do I access the Irish Newspaper Archives on the library website? So at the moment, you have two versions. You have two homepages. You have the MTU Library Cork website, and you also have the MTU Kerry Library website. So if you're a student or a staff member based on any of the Cork campuses, what you need to do is access the library with the MTU Cork campus library homepage, and then go to the e-resources tab on our main homepage. And once you've actually accessed the e-resources tab, it's simply a question then of scrolling down to the Irish Newspaper Archives collection. This is an A to Z listing of all of our e-resources. So what you need to do is, if you want to access the Irish Newspaper Archives, you simply scroll down through that listing and then access this link. If you're actually based on the MTU Library Kerry website, what you need to do is you need to access first of all, you need to access the Kerry Library website, and then you need to go to the A to Z listing of online resources. And from here, then, it's simply a question of going to the letter I, then, and traveling down to the Irish Newspaper Archives section there again, and simply clicking on that link. Once you've actually got that far on either the Cork or the Kerry Library websites, the next thing that you'll be asked to do is to enter either your student or your staff details to access that database. And that's the same again for any of our e-resources, again, within our e-resource portfolio. So the thing is, again, if you're a student, you will be asked to enter your student number and your regular password details. If you're a staff member, you will be asked to enter your email address, your MTU email address. And again, it will be the same login password then that you normally actually use to access your MTU email account. So the Irish Newspaper Archives homepage. So the thing is, the first thing that you actually see when you actually log into the Irish Newspaper Archives is the homepage here. Again, it's actually a very, very straightforward interface to actually use. And what this database actually does, or what this what this section of the homepage does is it simply allows you to browse through the homepage. So there's a listing of A to Z titles here again that you can scroll through. There's a tab at the top of the page, including an introduction, search results, browse, and viewer, and my collections feature. What we're actually looking at here now at the moment is a listing of all of the various titles again within the collection, A through to Z. And over to the left-hand side of the screen then as well, what you actually have is you have a series of tutorials again that you can access in your own time. Again, those are very, very short tutorials again and worth looking at. Okay, so what we want to do at this point is we want to browse the full list of newspapers available. Okay, so the thing is, this is slightly more detailed than the kind of the previous page that we were looking at, because it gives you more functionality to browse through the entire collection of content. So what we're actually doing here is we're simply looking at the browse button here on the toolbar at the top of the page. And what this actually does then is it actually opens up an A to Z listing, a very, very detailed A to Z listing over here to the left-hand side of the screen. So again, what you can do is you can either browse through this listing if you want to, or again, what you can do is you can select a specific title then from that listing. But the beauty of this, this tab here as well is that what it's actually doing as well is it's also giving you the holdings for a particular newspaper title again within the archives collection. So again, from that point of view, it is very, very useful. So the next thing what we want to do is we want to browse and view a particular newspaper title. So let's just see how we'd actually do that. So the first thing that you'd need to do is click on the browse option on the toolbar. This pulls up an A to Z listing of all newspaper titles in the archive and also provide details on the years available. So next, you select the newspaper title that you wish to view and select the year that you require. In this case, we've chosen the Irish Independent and we want to view recent editions. Select the cover of the most recent edition. And then select the plus and minus options to enlarge or reduce paper size on your screen. You can also use the forward arrow to move to the next page of the newspaper. Use the mouse to hover to the desired section of the newspaper page so that you can read a specific article. So the next thing that we want to do at this point is we want to show you how to search for a topic in the archives. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to click on the search results option at the top of the page. And we're going to enter the search terms required. In this case, let's search for flood defenses. You can then use the Boolean operators and or, near or not, to expand or refine your search. In this case, let's use the and option, and we'll include the words climate change. So the system at this point is searching all of the archives collection, and the system eventually finds 2,111 articles related to this topic, with titles spanning across all newspaper titles within the collection. So let's just include another word or term to further refine our search. In the Refine Search Options column on the left-hand side of the screen, let's include the word Cork under the exact word or phrase option. And again, the system is just trawling through all of the entire collection at this stage. And the search has now found 1,046 articles related to flood defences, climate change, and Cork. So we can further refine our search by specifying a date range. Let's say we only want to view articles as far back as January 2021. And we then hit the search button again. And the database in this case then pulls up 64 results. So what you can also do as well is you can also click the tick box next to each record to add items to your personal collection. So the View My Collection option on the right-hand side of the screen, you can use this to see all newspaper articles that you've just added. So now we're going to the My Collection tab at the top of the toolbar, just to see what articles we've added. And from here, then you can choose to email saved articles to your personal email account. Okay, so the next thing what we need to do is we just want to talk a little bit maybe about refining your search in the Irish Newspaper Archives and the various options available to you. So as well as allowing you to use the and, or, and not Boolean operators, the Irish Newspaper Archives also allows you to use the near search operator. So most of you that actually use our other library databases, you'll all be very, very familiar with the operators and, or, not. And many of those databases as well, in some cases, do actually use the near search operator. But the Irish Newspaper Archives includes all of those added functionality again for anyone using the database. So the AND operator normally is used for containing all terms separated by the operator. Use the OR to find records containing any of the terms separated by the operator, and use NOT to exclude records containing certain words from your search. So you can see there on the screen, we're searching for flood defences and Cork, not Ireland. So in this case, we want material that's specifically related to flood defences and Cork, but we want to make sure that these aren't flood defences that are related to all of Ireland. It's specifically Cork that we're actually looking for in this instance. So the near proximity search within the INA resource automatically searches for terms within 3 words of each other. So if you have used the near operator in some of our other databases, what you can do in some instances, you can actually specify the number of words or the proximity of the wording. So for example, you can put in, you can specify that you want, we'll say flood defences near 15, and that will actually make sure that the words Cork is 15 words within from the term flood defences. In the case of the Irish Newspaper Archives, though, it defaults to near, and then it defaults to 3 words proximity. So the thing is that the term flood defences near Cork will always be found within 3 words of each other. What you can also do as well is you can also use inverted commas around your search term to denote that this is a specific search term and that you want to use, example, flood defences. So you won't find the word flood in one part of the document and defenses in another. It's specifically a term that you're actually searching for. So the Save Your Search query is, again, quite useful if you're a regular user of the Irish Newspaper Archives. So the thing is, what you can actually do is you can click here on the toolbar option here, and there's like a little disc that you can click on, and the Save Search query will allow you to save searches that you've carried out, and you can basically rerun these searches again at a later date if you want to do that. So in this case, the search string that we've created is flood defences and Cork and climate change, and then you can simply give that a title. So in this case, we've called it our flood damage essay. Again, that's saved then for you within your personal collection, within the archives. You can also, once you've actually saved a search query, you can always go back and reload it by clicking on the Load Saved Query option, again within the database. And again, this appears again at the top of the toolbar here. So again, this actually looks like, so again, our query originally was flood defences and Cork and climate change and our flood damage essay. So as I said, you can choose to rerun that search again if you decide that's something that you want to do. Again, another useful option again is there's the option to print your saved results. So there's an option here to, again, on the toolbar at the top of the page, there's an option to click on the print option to print out a list of results found. Again, that's something that you may decide that might be useful for you to do. So the next thing that we want to look at is how to preview and access an article. So to access a specific article from the list of articles found after searching, you simply click on the title. It's very, very easy to do. And in this case, we've carried out a search for flooding and Cork. So now the archive database opens up the article in a preview panel. And then from within the preview panel, you can save the article to your personal collection, print the article, save the article, or even share the article with a colleague using the permalink option. By clicking on the text option, another preview panel opens up and the system highlights where words from your initial search appear. In this case, the words flooding and Cork are highlighted throughout the document. So the next thing that we want to look at is basically how to clip and save articles. Again, this is actually a very, very useful feature. And again, very, very useful for anyone who's kind of regularly consulting the newspaper archives. So within the Irish Newspaper Archives, you can clip articles, article paragraphs, or even photographs. So to do this, firstly, select the newspaper that you want to work with. In this case, we want to work with the August the 14th edition of the Irish Independent. We can preview each page of the current newspaper by using the forward arrow until we come to the page that we require. We've now located the article that we want to clip, and the title of the article is Colleges Plan More Oral Exams in Response to the Threat of AI Cheating. We'll now use the scissors icon on the right-hand side of the screen. The system asks us if we want to select page 6 or page 7 of this 2-page spread. In this case, the article we require is on page 7 on the left-hand side of the newspaper spread. The page now opens up and a clip option appears. It's simply at this point a question of dragging the clip option to the article that you want to copy. Use the drag options to resize accordingly. In this case, we want to copy the article. This is done by right-clicking on the article and choosing the copy image option on your PC, laptop, or other device. The article is now saved directly to your personal device, laptop or PC. So thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for joining us while we basically consult the Irish Newspaper Archives and provide you with an introduction to this new resource. So again, if you do have any questions in relation to this resource, or indeed any of our other resources, please feel free to link in with staff on any of the Cork campus libraries, or indeed our colleagues on the Kerry campus library as well. They can be consulted as well at any time. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to link in with us. We'd only be too happy to answer any questions that you may have. So again, thank you for your time.